Yes, it's time for a battle of the performance mid-size sedans. I've got the 2025 Skoda Octavia RS versus the Subaru WRX. One's a rally icon and the other has developed a bit of a cult following over the years for being a subtle but still quite exciting performance sedan. Although if I was going to pick the Octavia, I would take the wagon because it's just more practical, it's a bit cooler. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Under the bonnet, the Skoda has a 2-litre turbo petrol 4-cylinder engine, 195 kilowatts and 370 newton meters, matched to a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic with front-wheel drive. While in the Subaru is a 2.4-litre turbo petrol flat-4 engine, producing 202 kilowatts and 350 newton meters. That's connected to a 6-speed manual with all-wheel drive. Very different powertrains. The Skoda produces less power but has more torque than the WRX, but then the WRX is a manual while the Skoda has a fast shifting dual clutch automatic. So it'll be interesting to see how these two perform against each other. In terms of the curb weights, I've got the WRX RS variant. The Spec B is the one to go for. It's got the adaptive dampers. It still has the manual transmission as well, but according to my tests it is fractionally slower. Could be because it's a little bit heavier, it's a bit more luxurious, and it's got the adaptive dampers, although that shouldn't really be that much heavier, maybe a little bit of wiring, I guess. But anyway, like, you could get the same results in both of them, I think. With manual transmissions, you can sit here all day and test and get a different result each time. So you could, you could say that the RS is the same as the Spec B, or the Spec B is the same as the RS. It weighs 1,521 kilograms Tare. I couldn't find the curb weight, but then the Tare weight for the Skoda is 1,530 kilograms. So very, very close in terms of the weight. But the power to weight ratio is in favor of the WRX. It's got more power and it is fractionally lighter. So you've got 132.8 kilowatts per ton versus 127 kilowatts per ton in the Skoda. As usual, I'll set up the tripod here on this private road for the full quarter mile, including at the start, about the halfway point, and then roughly the finish line, I think, or the quarter mile line, I think is just after where the camera is positioned, but I've got the tarmac marked out perfectly for the tripod, so it's easier to edit together. But yeah, it's roughly the quarter mile. And then during the editing, I'll splice it together so they take off at the exact same points. Obviously, it would be great to get them both here on the same time, the same day, the same conditions, but I think the conditions in terms of the weather, the temperature, was pretty similar for both runs. The figures at the end are the best result I got. So with the WRX in particular, I did quite a few runs with some cool down and so on to get a good launch with the manual transmission, get the right gearing, get the right revs and all that sort of thing. The Skoda is more consistent. It does have a launch control system, and you just put your foot on the brake. It actually disengages the gearbox while it revs up, and then both clutches engage and away you go. In that sense, the Skoda should be quicker off the mark, but you can rev the engine right up in the WRX and really help get it off the line because it's 4-wheel drive and turbo. Usually a difficult combination to get off the line. What do you think is going to be quicker? Let's find out. There we go. Who would have thought the Skoda actually takes the win for 0 to 100. If we have a look at the 0 to 60 time, 60 kilometers an hour this is, 2.88 seconds in the WRX versus 3.24 in the Skoda. So obviously with all-wheel drive, getting those engine revs up, you can really leap off the line. That gives you a bit of an idea of its driving characteristics. It's very punchy, awesome for very tight corners and just ripping out of the corner, while the Skoda obviously can't do that because it's only two-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. But yeah, then the 0 to 100, 6.10 in the Skoda versus 6.15 in the WRX. That's about as close as you can get. So what's my choice out of these two? Look, the WRX, I'm a massive fan because it's manual transmission. Manuals aren't going to last very much longer, so it's good to have that option out there. I love the all-wheel drive grip in wet conditions and so on. And saying that, I do love the Skoda as well. Like if it was my daily car, I'd probably pick the Skoda because it's a bit more refined, a bit easier to drive being automatic. It is front wheel drive, but it's still quite exciting to drive around corners and so on. It's basically a Golf GTI underneath, except a bit longer, so you could say it's a bit more stable, I guess. But in other areas, the Skoda's official fuel consumption average is just 7 litres per 100 kilometres, while the WRX is 9.9, so it's definitely thirstier, the WRX, than the Skoda. You've also got a much bigger boot in the Skoda as well. Even though this is the sedan, as I said, I'd go for the wagon. You've got 600 litres available, while the WRX sedan is 411 litres. You can get a WRX wagon, but it's only available with a CVT automatic, which is just yuck. I wouldn't even consider that. I mean, it is still a cool car, but out of these two, I would rather have a Skoda Octavia RS wagon. In other areas, the range, you've got a 50 litre tank in the Skoda and a 63 litre tank in the WRX. That means the theoretical range is 636 kilometers in the WRX. So many kilometers, kilowatts, kilograms. And then 714 kilometers range in the Skoda. So straight away, the Skoda does seem like a better sort of daily driver style of option. In terms of the price though, the WRX is a bargain, $52,990 excluding on roads, versus the Skoda, which is about $62,990, 10 grand more for basically the same package. You could argue that it is more refined, but the WRX is very well made, the interior and everything like that, and you get all-wheel drive. Skoda, you get just a few more luxuries. You've got those lined bins in the door trims. Yeah, if it was me, I would take the Octavia wagon. That way you've still got exciting performance, but you've got excellent fuel consumption, or good fuel consumption for its performance. It is slightly quicker as well, if that matters. But yeah, I still love the WRX as well. It's just a very hard pick. Let me know what you would pick in the comments below.